In the world of options, there are really two pieces to the puzzle: option buyers and option sellers. And while majority of my capital is allocated to option selling, which I believe is the safer, smarter strategy for majority of your money, there is obviously money to be made in option buying as well. So in this video, I'm going to cover some option buying strategies that I think are the smartest and most effective to make sure that you're able to profit off not just option selling, but option buying as well. So as you see, looking at my portfolio, you can tell that majority of my positions are option sells because I primarily am an option seller, but there's always a time and a place for buying options. The first place is honestly just buying leaps, which I did cover in my last video, right? When you buy a leap, it is essentially the same thing as controlling 100 shares, being that you have it for such a long period of time, and of course, being relatively deep in the money on that leap. Now, for a lot of you who are a little bit more degenerate like, here's the strategy for buying options that are closer, right? Because I know a lot of you like to be playing close to the money. Some of you like to play zero DTE, which believe me, I have my fair share of moments with zero DTE as well as an option buyer. I'll say this, as an option seller, it a lot of times isn't worth it to play zero DTE because notice how when you go further out, there's lots of premium to collect. So let's see, last price, right? When we look at these options that I sold that are a month out, now I like that they're low because they're so far out of the money. Obviously we like keeping it that way. But when you look at some of the options I've sold that are closer to the money, obviously they're much higher. Of course, this one is deep in the money as well. Now I don't ever typically just sell deep in the money options. If I'm gonna be in a deep in the money option, it's because I had to roll and was just trying to get a lower entry. But the point I'm trying to get at is when it comes to selling options, it's not really worth it to sell zero DTE because you're going to get in an option that's worth 30, 40 cents, 50 cents, where it could 3 or 4 or 5x. So in the world of options, I would say buying zero DTE is actually better than selling zero DTE. But overall, I think staying away from zero DTE, whether you're a seller or a buyer, is a lot of times the best bet. Now, of course, this position right here, I might let ride to expiration due to the fact that there's a good chance it's out of the money. If it's deep in the money, there's even a small chance I even get assigned because it's below my cost basis. When it comes to wheeling stocks and wheeling options, obviously staying below your cost basis is the key to never ending profitability. Now obviously I have a lot of other covered calls open on IBIT, so I wouldn't allow all of them to get assigned, obviously at $49. So now that we've covered all of our positions that we have open, I want to direct my focus to the point of this video, which is the option buying strategy that I believe anyone can implement to turn a small amount of capital into a large amount of capital. So this current option I'm in, right, it is the $61 strike on TQQQ, which is obviously in the money currently, but this wasn't the original position. So I want to get into why I think this strategy is not bulletproof, but very close to it. So when you go to the history, right, we took this position on a long call roll. So we originally bought, let's see. So here's the position that we bought, but let's look at the original position that we entered. So give me 1 second while I pull it up. So here's the original position that we entered. We bought $57 strike for a TQQQ call that expired on Friday, 2 days ago, right? And the way we handled it was we held it till expiration. So obviously there was moments where it was up, there was moments where it was down, but by the time we got very close to our expiration, we were essentially down about $150 or so. How do we know this? Because it was only worth, where is it? $4.25 at the time. And of course we paid back to it $5.87. So we were down about $150. Now, at that point, I could have obviously closed the position, but I'm still long on TQQQ by looking at the chart. So let's pull up the TQQQ charts, or better yet, right now we have the NASDAQ 100, right? Which it just opened, and look at this. It just opened very high. I don't know if that necessarily means that it's going to be, stay this high, right? Gaps like this do tend to fill, but this is a beautiful sign for the position that we currently have. So again, in terms of how, to go about this, how to buy options where you never lose. So when I bought this option, I bought it on the original one, let's get into, was March 11th for a 10-day expiration, right? So I bought it 10 days out, but I bought it deep in the money. And the reason why we went deep in the money is because, obviously deeper in the money protects you. So I remember at the time, well, we could do the math, right? It was a $57 and I paid $5.87. So my break-even price was $62.90, something like that, right? So the reason why this is so important is because when you buy deep in the money, you're giving yourself a break even that's relatively close to the current price, right? Now, in this case, I rolled out. Why? Because I wanted to roll for a credit. Now, when it comes to selling options and you want to roll into a higher premium. But when it comes to buying, it's the opposite. So we bought for 405. Our option was worth 425. We bought the new one for 405. So we didn't lose money. We actually lost $150, but we gained $20 profit on the roll. Why? Or better yet, not profit, but we saved ourselves, right? Because again, it was cheaper. If you roll into a more expensive option when you're buying, then the fact of the matter is you're gonna have to put more money into the position. In this case, we have never had to risk more than our original 587. So this is why the strategy works so well. And to sum up the strategy, right? Let's just pull up the TQQQ chart. I always have a hard time saying it, right? But again, we bought on, let's just say, where was it? So we bought our position on March 10th, right? It was somewhere around here, March 11th, okay? And basically what happened was it was not easy price action, right? The price action was choppy. This is not the type of price action you want to see as an option buyer, right? This is better price action as an option seller. And obviously being someone who sold options throughout this, I was profiting on, basically my calls and my puts throughout this entire consolidation zone. Now, we ended up again closing the position for a loss, but we can't hold till expiration with Robinhood anyway, right? Like the last 30 minutes is when it rallied, and no matter what, we weren't going to be able to hold this position at that point. We were going to have to roll. So the moral of the story of how to win, right, with options, I know I've said a lot in this video, but if you want to get it right, it's simply buying an option that's deep in the money. Now, maybe it's 3 weeks, 4 weeks out. And at that point, if it doesn't expire where you want it to expire, you roll into a further date that is more out of the money. The reason why you have to go higher is because of the fact that you want to save yourself money. If you want to go deeper in the money, you're going to have to deposit more. But the real thing is that we're keeping ourselves lean, right? I only put 587 into this position, and now I was able to go 2 more weeks out, 3 more weeks out without having to add money. Matter of fact, I was able to sneak $20 out of it. So, I'm down whatever it is, 130 after everything, right? After the credit and after the loss. And I'm in the option for another 2 weeks. Now, looking at how the NASDAQ opened, there's a good chance that the option that we rolled into is going to be up a lot of money come tomorrow morning. So I'm going to be very happy I did it, and ideally, make a lot more than the 150 I lost. So to sum it all up, right, you might get into an option and it might be a range, right? It might just be price action that you wish you avoided. But if you stay deep in the money, then you're going to at least, if the option loses, have the ability to still have equity, right? If you went deep out of the money, like let's say you bought this strike here, you would be crushed, okay? Because obviously that's how options work. So they fool you into thinking cheaper is better in the option world. Truthfully, more expensive is better. That's why being an option seller is more profitable than being an option buyer. And if you're going to be a profitable option buyer, it's going to be deep in the money, because at least if your deep in the money position begins to lose, you can roll into a further date, further expiration. And now look, right? Look at how the NASDAQ opened. Again, I don't know if this is an indicator of how the week is going to be. I'm recording this on a Sunday night. As you can see, the futures market just opened. But with that being said, I'm pretty happy that I have calls going into this. I have a good feeling about them. I have a good feeling about the shares. We'll see what happens when Robinhood updates for this position, because this market isn't open yet. But that's my strategy. Right now you see the account's at 87.7. I'll be back with another video tomorrow, so you will see where the account stands at that point. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you tune into tomorrow to see what's going on with this account, what's going on with these positions. I promise to keep you all updated in live time, as I have been since November. So if you enjoyed, make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe. And I do want to say one more time that our premium is still 100% free. If you want to check it out, I'll put a link in the description. I'm also going to link some of the free guides I've created for option selling to get you all started in your journey selling options and buying options today. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a thumbs up if you got something out of it, and I will see you in the next one.